We must make sure that no single corner of Africa there are guns where Africans are killing each other. Africans must always be together against the enemy forces who want to exploit our country. We are here today to reclaim our land. We want the land of Africa to be returned to Africa because it belongs to the Africans. We want the minerals of Africa to be returned to the Africans because that's where they belong. We want to build industries in Africa and process our minerals here in Africa. We've got the capacity. We must never allow the imperialist forces to divide us in order to take our minerals from us. We demand one Africa. We demand borderless Africa. We demand Africa with one president, with one currency, with one military command, with one parliament, because we know the currency of Africa will be much more stronger against the American currency. We don't care what Trump thinks of us. He will never choose a policy position for Africans. We are not subject of Trump. We must refuse to be subjects of Trump. We must stand together as the world changes and show the world that Africa is one and Africa is equal to all nations, to China, to Russia, to America. We are not just a small nation. We are a big nation. We are not a dark continent. How can we be dark when we've got diamond that is shining amongst us? We are a shining nation.
Wow, greetings and welcome all of you brothers and sisters. That is the part of a prophetic lecture delivered by Julius Malema to Nigerians when he was invited to deliver his public lecture in Nigeria. And this should be delivered by the African Union, not by Julius Malema. This message should be delivered by the African Union. The question, and how to ask Malema, can African Union speak like that on behalf of Africans?
But Africa is now getting tired, and rightly so, of groups and institutions which think they are doing well or think that they mean well for Africa, but think that Africans are tails to be wagged.
AU, there's no such a thing. It's a group of all people who protect each other. They don't protect the interests of their people. It's a club. It's a gentleman club. They don't care. They don't call each other out. So they are unable to say, you are wrong here, you are wrong there. And therefore, this is how we need to fix it. And the way forward is that the youth must take politics serious.
Yes, those are views of Julius Malema concerning about regional bodies, African Union, about their laws. Malema don't see that African Union is full committed to support member states. But finally, ECOWAS and African Union have released statements to condemn US President Donald Trump's threats against Nigeria. Both African Union and ECOWAS have issued a firm statement rejecting recent threats made by US President Donald Trump against Nigeria, particularly his claims of Christian persecution and suggestions of military intervention. What African Union, ECOWAS, and other regional bodies can do to protect African nations. Because as I speak to you now, America has several military bases here in the country of Africa, and they are full equipped. And if we think by releasing statements, by coming out and speak, will protect this continent, we are not serious, because they are already here. America will not need to mobilize resources from Washington because they are already here in the continent of Africa. They have military base here. if they want to invade Nigeria, they're not going to Washington to mobilize the resources to come with those resources here. They are already here. They have military bases here. They have jet fighters that can move maybe within 10 seconds and bombing Nigeria within a short time. We witnessed what they did to Iran. So the only solution is for we Africans to come together. The only statement I expected from African Union is the statement to call African leaders to unite, not to release a statement to reaffirm commitment to Nigeria's sovereignty. Yes, but the only statement that can matter is the statement of African Union calling all African leaders in Addis Ababa and telling them that if we don't unite, we'll be punished one by one, and don't blame African Union because we have no power in division. We have strong in unity. That's what the statement we want to hear from African Union, from these regional bodies. But because of division, we will continue to release this statement, because during Gaddafi, they released the same statement, but Gaddafi was punished. Recently, you saw what happened to Iran. So we can condemn, we can release statements, but if we continue under division, this statement is nothing, because they are already here in the continent. They have military bases here, well equipped. We need to do like what Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso did. They said, hands off our lands. No more military base in our territories. So African Union has to release a statement. Close all military bases. If you want to support Nigeria, close. In Cote d'Ivoire, a neighboring country of Nigeria, has military base. And other places. How can we stop someone with well-equipped military base, jet fighters? How can we? So, but it was ECOWAS that suggested military intervention against Niger. And today, they have seen that military intervention is not a solution. ECOWAS emphasized that terrorism in Nigeria and the broader West African region affects all communities regardless of religion or ethnicity. The bloc warned that framing the crisis as a targeted Christian genocide is misleading and dangerous. The regional body, ECOWAS, stressed the need for solidarity and cooperation, not divisive rhetoric. It urged the international community to support Nigeria's fight against terrorism through balanced and constructive engagement. ECOWAS, alongside the European Union and China, cautioned against any action that could undermine Nigeria's sovereignty. They reaffirmed that Nigeria's internal security challenges require regional solutions, not external threats. So if ECOWAS know this, why ECOWAS not mobilizing their army, their military to fight terrorism in Nigeria? But it was ECOWAS that mobilized military intervention against Niger. So those logistics that were prepared to invade Niger, why they cannot use to fight terrorism in Nigeria? Those are just my suggestions. So let us now go back to African Union. I'm going to read the statement released by the African Union through Information and Communication Directorate on November 7th, 2025 in Addis, Ethiopia. African Union Commission reaffirmed commitment to Nigeria's sovereignty, religious freedom, and the rule of law. The African Union Commission, in brackets, AUC, reiterates its unwavering commitment to the principle of sovereignty, non-interference, religious freedom, and the rule of law as enshrined in the African Union Constitutive Act and related instruments. The Commission notes with concern recent statements by the United States of America alleging that the government of Nigeria is complicit in the targeted killing of Christians and threatening military action. The African Union Commission emphasizes the following. Number one, the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a long-standing and valued member state of the African Union, playing a key role in regional stability, counter-terrorism, peacekeeping initiatives, and continental integration. Number two, the African Union Commission fully respects Nigeria's sovereign right to manage its internal affairs, including security, religious freedom, and human rights, in line with its constitution and international obligation. Any external engagement must respect Nigeria's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and unity. Number three, the Commission supports Nigeria's repeated affirmation that its constitution guarantees freedom of religion and belief, and that the government rejects all forms of religious persecution. Number four, Nigeria faces complex security challenges affecting citizens of all faiths, including violent extremist groups, banditry, communal violence, and resource-based conflicts. The African Union Commission calls for regional and international cooperation to support Nigeria and other African countries in strengthening capacity to respond to insecurity, protect all citizens, uphold human rights, and bring perpetrators of violence to justice. The African Union Commission remains ready to provide support through its peace and security architecture, capacity building programs, and strategic partnership. Number five, the African Union Commission rejects any narratives that weaponizes religion or oversimplified security challenges, confronting all violence with a single religious target narrative may hinder effective solutions and destabilize communities. Number six, African Union Commission argues external partners, including the United States of America, to engage Nigeria through diplomatic dialogue, intelligence sharing, and capacity building partnership, while respecting Nigerian sovereignty rather than resorting to unilateral threats of military intervention, which could undermine international peace, regional stability, and African Union norms for peaceful conflict management. The African Union Commission remains committed to support member states in promoting peace, security, human rights, and development while upholding sovereignty and non-interference. So that is the statement of African Union. The question, African Union has a power to stop America from invading Nigeria. African Union as an army, African Union as a territory. What African Union can do to protect Nigeria if America today had to say we are going to send troops in Nigeria? We have seen some countries holding US military base. We think America will come from Washington. No, they are already here. They are already here. America don't need to mobilize resources to invade Nigeria. They are already here in the continent of Africa. The question, are we ready to protect Nigeria? My advice to African Union, let us call an emergency meeting. Call all African leaders. Tell them that the only salvation for us is to come together. If we don't unite, we cannot resist, we cannot protect each other. Our only salvation for us, the people of Africa, is to come together. If we don't come together, brothers and sisters, we are finished. We are finished and will be punished one by one. I've been saying this many times. Maybe my voices don't reach many people, my voices don't reach African leaders, but if you are near to our African leaders, please share this message to our leaders. If we don't come together, if we don't unite, we'll be punished one by one. You remember what happened to Burkina Faso, to Ghana, to Libya, to Zimbabwe, to Democratic Republic of Congo. What is happening right now in Sudan? It's because when Sudan given the opportunity to Russian government to have access to the port in the Horn of Africa, you remember that that's where the conflict started. So do we have a power to stop America to invade Nigeria militarily? So we don't have to speak many things. We don't have to release many statements. We don't have to provide a lot of statements. What we need to do is to come together and unite. That's the only solution. We can speak a lot of day, but if we don't unite, we are not safe. Our only salvation is for we Africans to come together and unite. So African Union, your role is to call a meeting and tell African leaders, the way we have heard from Julius Malema, that if we don't come together, if we don't unite, don't blame African Union. If we don't come together, if you are not ready to unite with us, if something comes to you, don't blame us. We have to speak openly without the fear of anyone, because we love this continent. And we are speaking this not because we hate someone, no, because we love this continent. And we see that without unity, we are going nowhere. Because we are in our real life, we have witnessed what happened to our countries. Have given example what happened to Ghana. They removed the Sage for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. What happened to Congo and what is continuing in Congo. They removed Patrice Emery Lumumba of Congo. What is happened to Sankara in Burkina Faso. They removed Thomas Sankara. You remember what happened right now in Sudan. They're distracting Sudan. You remember what happened to Zimbabwe when Mugabe took the land. You remember what happened. You know what is happening right now to South Africa. You know. And now it is the time for Nigeria. So who is the next? That's the question we need to ask. Recently you heard about Burkina Faso. So we don't need to find real examples. We are living in the real examples. So the only salvation for what I think is for we Africans to come together and unite. So brothers and sisters, family, if you have something to share with us, please do so through the comment sections. If you have already subscribed, please like the video and share this message to other Africans. The time is now for we Africans to come together. Thank you. Have a nice time.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.